Welcome to Align. If you've been with me for a while, you might remember this space as the Living Spirit Fully podcast. Over the years, it's grown and transformed just like I have. What began as a co created celebration of spirit has evolved into something more personal, more embodied, and more aligned with where I am now. I'm so grateful for the voices and the hearts that helped shape the earlier chapters of this podcast. And while this iteration is a solo journey, those connections will forever be held in my heart. And you may even hear familiar voices in future episodes. This podcast, like my work, continues to evolve because I continue to evolve. And today's episode reflects that. It's a little different, a little personal, it's honest, and it's the perfect place to begin again. I couldn't sleep the other night. It wasn't the moon. It wasn't even my partner. It was grief. Grief over something I didn't expect to matter so much. Hudson's Bay, Canada's department store, is shutting down for good. The entire company is being liquidated. And by June 15th, the oldest and longest surviving company in North America, one of the oldest continuously operating companies in the world, according to Wikipedia, will be no more. And I found myself heartbroken. Not because I shop there all the time. In fact, I can't even remember the last time oh wait, I do. It was last year I bought a pair of jeans. And it's not because I agree with anything that the brand stood for historically. I mean, just look into its history. I do not. But because Hudson's Bay was always there. Like snow, like skating rinks, like winters that arrive too early and linger too long. It was part of the fabric of what I understood as Canada. Those stripes, green, red, yellow, indigo, they weren't just a pattern to me. They weren't just a fashion statement in 2017 either. They were stitched into my memory. They reminded me of snow days and thick wool blankets, of cottages and Adirondack chairs, of something solid in an increasingly shaky world. I mean, I traveled with those stripes. My passport holder, my luggage tag. I didn't even have a Canadian flag on any of my things. It was those stripes. Not because I was loyal to the brand, but because they meant home. They marked the intersection of my identity, Canadian and Italian. In fact, the tricolore were in there, the green, white, and red. Those were the first three colors of those stripes. They were woven in. I once walked into a yoga studio in Florence. I love this story. And I saw a woman carrying the exact same Hudson's Bay tote bag I had slung over my shoulder. We looked at each other. We smiled. We didn't even say a word. It was just a silent, shared belonging. It was a piece of home in a foreign land. But that pride, it feels different now. The Bay, as we knew it, had already been hollowed out, sold to an American businessman who gutted it for its real estate, made its profit, and then just left the legacy behind like an empty shell. And somehow, we let it happen. We watched the soul get extracted, and we shrugged. Or we didn't know, or maybe we didn't care. And that's what hurts the most, when something sacred is turned into just another business decision. But this isn't about a department store. It's about identity, belonging. It's about what it means to love something flawed and what it means to outgrow it. And that's a story that I know all too well. Years ago, I worked for an American company that seemed aligned with everything I believed in. It promised to unify fitness, mental health, and spiritual growth. It sounded like home, and it felt like purpose. Until it didn't. The cracks began small, but I began to see that the founder didn't walk the talk. I was teaching classes, training teachers, and working in the head office. And when I told her I wanted to focus on the front line, helping people, and less on building the business, I was sidelined. I became invisible. Months later, I saw her at an event. What's your name again? Literally, that's what she said to me. My colleagues heard, and no one said a word. I stayed. I kept on working because I believed. Then I won an industry award, Suddenly I was valuable again. She gave me a few gifts. They were shallow tokens to win back a loyalty she had already lost, and I donated them all. And still, I stayed. For 3 more years, I stayed because I loved the students. I loved what I was doing, and I wanted to believe that what I was doing still mattered. And then came the last straw. I spent nearly a month working closely with a group on their training journey, and I planned a master class that I hoped would be memorable for them. I poured my heart into it, and just hours before, I was told that I couldn't lead it because the founder wanted the spotlight for herself. It was a vanity moment. No warning, no apology. So I resigned quietly, and not a single person acknowledged it. But still, I am grateful because at one time there was a Canadian co-owner of that company and she shielded me from so much. I had no idea. And to be honest, if it wasn't for her, I probably would have left a lot sooner. She left the company around the same time that I did, and she now leads a vibrant community of teachers and healers. I'm so proud of her. She too was burned by a system she gave her life force to, and she turned that loss into something beautiful. It's truly inspiring. This chapter has taught me this. When wellness becomes performance, when healing is packaged and sold without integrity, when people are used up and tossed aside, something sacred is lost. I gave everything to a machine that didn't value me. My devotion was not met with care, but with spiritual bypassing, the kind that masks harm with mantras and merchandise. And the cost? My health, my peace, and my self-worth. But not anymore. I'm done shrinking to fit into systems that were never designed with me in mind. I'm done working for titles. I'm done bowing to egos, and I am done softening my edges to make other people comfortable. And I'm reclaiming all of me, the fire, the heart, the truth, the passion, all that I tucked away to make others feel safe. So here is my vow to be unapologetically myself, to be weird, to be wild and free, not bound by expectations, roles, or rules that don't even fit. Free to trust my heart, free to honor my truth, and free to live whole with every part of me held in love. I vow to help others do the same, to fall wildly in love with themselves, their bodies, their stories, their inner knowing, to reclaim their life force from systems that try to monetize their magic. As Kylie Minogue once sang, we're not young and we're not old. We're the stories not yet told. Won't be bought and can't be sold. We are golden. And that's where I begin again. Not as a brand, not as a business, but as a human being, walking in my truth and letting my heart lead the way. On that note, I'd like to take this opportunity to reintroduce myself. My name is Paul Galloro. I'm a somatic wellness guide and spiritual companion, and this is Align, a little light from a sunbeam dancing through life. This is the beginning of something honest, embodied, and deep. This podcast is a soul companion for your life, a space to return to yourself through movement, through breath, reflection, and good old human connection. This isn't a space for performance or for pretending. It's not polished perfection or spiritual bypassing in disguise. It's real talk. It's real practice. Real you and real me. It's the kind of place where we meet ourselves exactly where we are and fall wildly in love with what we find. So each episode is an experience you can take with you anywhere, a walk, a workout, or on your travels. We'll move through what I call an alignment arc. Starting with arrival, we'll settle into the present moment before we move into aligned embodiment, where we explore a theme through story, through astrology, somatic practice, or reflection. And then finally, there's integration. It's where I offer a takeaway practice or journal prompt for you to bring this work into your life in your own way. Everything I offer is an invitation to move, to feel, to listen, and to remember the truth of who you are: love. And as I introduce you to Align, I want to invite you to be part of this space in more ways. First off, you can join me and the Sunrise Social every weekday morning for Arise, my virtual movement and meditation experience designed to help you start your day with a full cup and put love in the driver's seat of your day. You can also download my ebook, Create Your Own Mindful Wellness Practice. Head over to paulgalloro.com for that. It will guide you on a journey to weave mindfulness into your daily life. Whether you're new to the practice or a seasoned practitioner, this heart-centered, supportive approach will help you build a lasting practice. And of course, you can always sign up for my newsletter, again, at paulgalloro.com, where I offer reflections, resources, and access to exclusive offers. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It helps this work reach the hearts of those who need it. And I am so grateful you're here because we are just getting started. Now, please join me in closing this episode with a prayer. And if you're currently doing what allows for it, bring your palms together, leave a little space between your hands for love. And I'll recite the prayer. And at the end, we're going to seal it by saying, "And so it is." Please join me. You can bow your head if it allows. If you're driving, keep your eyes on the road, huh? But take your palms together. Let's bow our head to our heart. Taking a deep breath in. We step out into our day with love guiding our way. The thoughts we think, the words we speak, and the things we do bring more love to this planet. And our eyes and hearts are open to see and receive the love that already surrounds us and the love that is already within us. For this blessing and all blessings we give thanks. And together we say, "And so it is." Thank you for dancing down this path with me. I love you, and I'll see you next time.